No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow, 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 ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans, and welcome to Logan, Utah. The Broncos have arrived for a showdown for first place in the Mountain West Conference tonight. A ton on the line. It's going to be a hostile environment for Max Rice. Already counted 7 signs for Max Rice in the crowd. For whatever reason, the fans don't like him here, and we'll get into that as we go along. But the Broncos going with the blue uniforms tonight and a new decal at center court, Stu Morrill Court. Big-time ceremony coming at halftime. Going to be a big-time atmosphere tonight. A lot of former coaches, players, and a sellout crowd tonight. Abe Jackson, as we welcome you courtside. We appreciate Abe Jackson. You'll hear him and Bob Beeler on the call coming up bottom of the hour over on 670 KBOI. But sellout crowd starting to file in here. Abe, this is going to be a lot of fun tonight.
It is. You can chalk this one up to one of the better environments in the Mountain West, but there are so many of them, right? I mean, we were one at New Mexico. When Extra Mile gets sold out, it's one of those. Viejas, of course, and then here in Logan, one of the best environments that I've played in and one of the best environments that I've called games. And I will never, ever forget Marcus Shaver shutting up 10,000 people with 1 3-pointer 2 years ago. It was one of the best things that has happened in this building for a Bronco fan.
Maybe the biggest overshadowing of a 20-20 game. Milad Narmouche had 20-20 that game as well, right. And was just dominating in the post. But, yeah, right there, the three-pointer was just
I think he was 0 for 10 before that.
Oh, my gosh. Just an unbelievable shot. But we don't see any Marcus Shaver signs here. They're all about Max Rice here. His final game in the Spectrum. man, would it be nice to have another 35 like he did down at the pit? But what do you make of the love or lack thereof for Max Rice in the crowd?
No, it's all part of just college basketball. You know, for whatever reason, the fans here gravitated towards Max Rice to be against him. There's signs all over. I hate Max Rice. I dislike Max Rice. That guy might have been raised a little better to say I dislike, but you know, it's just all part of it. And I think that Leon and Max both leaned into it. I don't think that they I don't think it bothers them. I think they kind of enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, last year there was a guy that had a sign that said Daddy's Boy, and it had Leon and Max. And after the game, when Boise State won, they signed it for him. Or 2 years ago, I guess it was. But the same guys back here with the same sign asked Leon to sign it, and he said no. But, come on, it's before the game. Maybe after the game they will. But you can't be asking for autographs and pictures before the game from the coach. Come on. So then, of course, when he said no, they're all cussing at Leon, and we didn't want your picture anyway and all this stuff. So I would say this is to this point, man, I would call this a hostile crowd. Man.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard some things I don't want my kids saying already. I'll tell you that, man.
Right, and it's been that way since I can remember. I played here 3 times. My freshman, sophomore, junior year, and it's been hostile the whole time. And so
they were giving you crap when you were trying to crawl into the squad.
Well, let's be honest. It wasn't the most graceful entrance I made into this seat here, but I made it.
Yeah, you're almost 7 feet tall or whatever you are. They didn't give us that. I will say this: the trade-off is nice. To get to my seat, I'm about as good as it gets.
You are middle court, front row.
Yeah, I'll take the trade-off here, no doubt. But you mentioned you played in this building. Does it look the same as when you played here? Even the chairs are as ugly as they were then?
Chairs and the weird stanchions on the hoop that look like they should be in like an outdoor court, and the big old chains going up to the ceiling connecting the backboards. And
because the basket goes straight into the ground. It's not like there's no base.
Yeah, there's no base on it. It looks like an outdoor hoop, but it looks the same. The crowd's going to be the same, and same energy, I'm sure.
What was it like when you played here? This crowd gets into it, man.
Well, there's 2 things that make a venue tough. One is the crowd support, and 2, that you have really good teams. And Utah State, over the years, and every conference that they've been in with Boise State, have had really good teams. And it's no different this year, where they're one of the teams tied for the top.
What's this Utah State team in that game? Just 2 weeks ago, kind of crazy how quickly we're turning around and getting the rematch here. But Boise State had that game won, had a chance to finish it off. They missed the free throw. They ended up losing in overtime. Give Utah State credit. They hit some big shots in that game. Maybe Darius Brown's best game of the season.
Yeah.
Boise State maybe didn't play great either, but was still right there to win. How do you look at that game and how it translates into tonight?
Well, the positives from that game is that they played one of their worst offensive games. I mean, the inside guys did well. Tyson Degenhardt and Omar Stanley, they had solid games. I think 7 for 11 and 7 of 12 for both those guys. But none of the outside shooters really had a decent game at all. And I think that's why the Broncos shot just barely 40% in that game. And Utah State shot 48% in that game. So the defense was okay, giving up 48%. The offense was not very good in the outside shooting, but you were right there to still win the game. So if you want to take some positives, is that you played about a C+ or B- game overall, and you were still there to try and get the win.
What positives, if any, can you take out of the game in Fort Collins the other night?
Well, boy, I mean, Isaiah Stevens is good. 16 points, 11 assists. I mean, he just controlled that whole game. And it was just kind of one of those odd games where a couple guys went down and hit the deck hard. Jabuzo Abo got rim checked on a dunk. Boise State's down 6 with the ball, and then Roddy Anderson hits a wet spot in turnover, and then we foul and give him an and one, and now it's 9 points.
Yeah.
Just kind of an odd game. But, what I'm seeing in the Mountain West over the last week with Colorado State beating us, Nevada coming in here winning, and then winning against San Diego State as well, is that it's going to be a lot closer than maybe we were thinking, with maybe a couple of those teams starting to fade. No, some of those teams that were in the 5 or 6 position are starting to win these games. And so there's going to be one team that is very good that could win the entire Mountain West Conference tournament that's going to have to play Wednesday.
Yeah, and I'll get to that in a second, but I do think Boise State, we've noticed whenever they've had a rough game in league or in this season in general, for the most part, they've followed it up with a really nice game. What have you seen in this team's ability to bounce back? Because you would think, given the 2 atmospheres, this is going to be a tougher game, a tougher atmosphere than when they just lost on Tuesday. But more times than not, this team has responded.
Right, and you always hear coaches and players say, we move on. We give it 24 hours and we move on and this and that. And this team does that. I mean, sometimes you look at a team and you're like, oh, they're still thinking about that last hard loss that they got. No, this team moves on, whether it's a good win, whether it's a bad loss, any type of game, they move on to the next one. They did that after the UNLV game. They did that after the Utah State game in Boise. So I expect this team to come out and have another bounce back game after losing at Colorado State.
You mentioned the way the standings are kind of, evening, starting to shake themselves out just a little bit. I think the winner of this game in particular, if it's Boise State, it has I guess inside track is maybe the best word. I don't know if driver's seat's the right word, but you look at the bye week and then the 4 winnable games against San Jose, Fresno, Wyoming, and Air Force coming up the next 4 games. Boise State may not lose for 3 weeks while these other teams kind of beat each other up.
Sure.
Then you get New Mexico and Nevada at home, and then you got the game at San Diego State. I know it's not going to be easy, but I feel like if Boise State can just find a way to win tonight, they're really setting themselves up to be right there till that final game to try to win the title.
Yeah, I agree. The schedule after this gets pretty easy as far as the Mountain West basketball games go with Air Forces and Fresnos and Wyomings. But if you really look at it in the numbers, those games are actually more important to win than this one. I mean, this one you're probably not favored. You're on Utah State's home court. They have a really good net ranking.
It's a quad one game.
It's a quad one. So if you lose, okay, not that much movement. You lose one of your next 4 games, especially at home to one of those bottom teams, that's going to be the ones that actually kind of kill you. So if you can get this game and then go on to the next ones, you could be in a really good position.
Tyson Degenhart, man, he's really been coming on over 20 points, making 3 of the last 4 games. I guess a 2-part question. What's Tyson been doing? But then also, how do you get some of the surrounding cast around him to be a little more consistent?
Well, Tyson's been doing the same thing that he's done since his freshman year, and it's just be consistent, take good shots, and just work every single possession, whether it's defense or offense. And that's what we can expect from Tyson. I mean, that's really what he brings every single day. But in shooters, though, when you're outside shooting, I mean, it comes and goes. That's what shooters do. Sometimes you knock down 5 threes in a game, and sometimes the next game you go 0 for 5 from 3. So it's just one of those things. Shooting goes up and down. Tyson's type of game stays very level all year long.
And I guess what are your keys for Boise State to pull off the massive upset tonight?
Well, I think you got to have some of the outside shots go down. I think Tyson and Omar are going to have some big games again. I like the matchups inside, but the outside shots need to go down. You look at the games that Boise State has won and the ones that they have lost. The inside guys are usually pretty consistent, and it's where's the shooting come from outside. So I think you got to knock down shots.
Hey, we appreciate your time as always. Can we see that sign real quick? What's that sign say? Can you hold that? Oh, Bozo State. They got Bozo State there with movie. There you go. Oh, man. They brought it tonight, Abe Jackson.
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun one here, and we appreciate you.
All right.
As always, going to take a quick 90-second timeout. John Mallory, Johnny Ballgame, is going to join us from back in Boise. We're going to actually talk a little about the Bush-Hamden news today. We'll talk about this game and get you set. Tons more live coverage here at the Spectrum in Logan, Utah. We'll be back in 90 seconds here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, we're back live here at the Spectrum. Somebody just handed me this sheet. It's called the Bull Sheet. It's all the things you need to know and yell to the students. And I'm not going to read it because a lot of it's very disrespectful. But they put a lot of time and effort into this little 2-page thing here, and it has a lot of players, comments. They're even taking shots at Tim Duryea, Meadow, Rice, obviously the Rice boys. So they did their homework. I'll give them that. They say what chance to do on the free throws, the free throw distractions, and literally have a scouting report on what to say about some of the players. There you go. We got the My Little Pony sign as well. they are fired up to say the least here tonight. So they got all the signs going. This is going to be quite the atmosphere here at the Spectrum. We're going to hear from Tim Duryea. We're going to talk about his return, Stu Morrill Court tonight as well. But we're going to bring in our man, John Mallory, Johnny Ballgame, host of Idaho Sports Talk. Let me get this out of here. Johnny, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I got you, BJ. Didn't expect
what do you make
to
of
be
the
talking
atmosphere?
to you.
Yeah, what do you make of the atmosphere here at the Spectrum? And I got to tell you what, man, this place is as hostile, as nasty of a crowd. I don't know how many games you called here, how many times you've been here, man, but they're using words that I'm not going to repeat on air. They're yelling them at me and the fans and this team. This is going to be a very crazy game tonight, man.
Yeah, it is. Logan's always a lot of fun, I think. I think it's good for college basketball as long as it's done somewhat respectfully. And maybe what you're saying, some of it isn't all that respectful. But, Boise State comes in there and wins tonight. I mean, those fans are going to go home sad. Stu Morrill's party won't be as festive and all that stuff. So there's a way to end that. But, yeah, that's fun. Yeah, bring it.
Somebody said, is that a 40-year-old college student holding the Boise State sign? There's some good comments in here. In the Johnny, I want to get your take on this basketball matchup, but I do want to start with football. I want to jump on here for a few minutes. Obviously, you can hear Johnny and Prater on Idaho Sports Talk, weekdays 3 to 6. I know you guys talking about it. And Bush Hamden, man, I haven't seen anything in the last hour. Maybe there's been a new update, but the report from Pete Thamel earlier today, looking to go to Kentucky, maybe. My sources saying it's not a done deal, and Boise State is still actively trying to keep him, but only so much you can do when he has a chance to triple his salary at Kentucky. Just your take on this situation and where we stand right now.
I tweeted earlier when I first saw the Thamel tweet, and I think it was like, didn't see this one coming. That's on me. I should have. We all should have. I mean, this is college football now. Oh, hate it or love it, right, BJ? That's on us. I mean, this is a Game of Thrones in real life with this coaching carousel. It doesn't matter the time in the season anymore. And there's this domino effect. And Liam Cohen, a nice young OC, a Sean McVay disciple, BJ, was the OC at Kentucky and did a good enough job for them to want him with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then where's the next domino to fall? In this case, it looks like it could be Bush Hamden, but I'm going to stop getting surprised on this stuff, BJ. You want to be surprised, but at the same time, this is college football, and we move on and we cover the situation. And if anything, it's going to be entertaining and exciting, you'd think.
Sorry, I had myself muted there. I just, you're right. College football, you can never count this out anywhere. We got some folks that said they're right behind us watching, so we appreciate you guys, Zachary and Ian, and we're talking a little football right now, but appreciate you guys for watching. Just all the guys they brought in, man, Malachi Nelson and getting Genty to stay and what this offense is going to look like. I mean, in the end, does it just come down to money and the SEC and stuff?
For me, with Bush, and I have two reasons, for Kentucky. Okay, two. One is the money, BJ. And if the money, like what we're hearing, is anywhere near that, he's going to make significantly more than Spencer Danielson would next year. That's just life-changing money. I don't know if Bush has been $1 million assistant coach yet. Maybe in Seattle with Chris Peterson, but I think, and that's one thing, the money, it might just be too much to say no to. I can respect that. I mean, I know what's going on as you do with college football now. Some of these jobs are high-level financial opportunities, BJ. And in the SEC now, this new SEC that begins next year, I mean, it's like the going rate for a coordinator in that league is over $1 million now. It's getting crazy. The other thing is, BJ, Kentucky's legit at football now. I mean, this makes sense for where Kentucky is. I was looking, BJ, they've been in the top 5 at some point in the year, 5 times in the last 6 years. So they're used to being ranked there. They haven't had a streak like that, BJ, since Bear Bryant was the coach. Stoops has it going there in Lexington, and Bush wants to be, you would think, in the SEC. That's where all the coaches are going to want to be, and this is a great opportunity. I hope Spencer can save the day and get it and keep him. I was excited for what was going to happen, but holy smokes, man, now Boise State needs to find an OC, and I think Kentucky, BJ, I think they got a good one in Bush.
Okay, so if this goes through and Bush does go to Kentucky, what are your thoughts on where Spencer Danielson might go for OC?
I think, there's the obvious, BJ, the usual suspects. You look close. You look within the family initially. If he wants to keep it in the staff, BJ, if that's a Matt Miller, if that's a James Montgomery, a Nate Potter, I'm not sure what he would consider there. If are some of those assistants who are going to ask Spencer, we would like the opportunity to take this, or, the other usual suspects, obviously, BNN's own Mike Sanford. I'm sure his Twitter, I'm sure his phone was very active today. Who knows what the Sandman is going to do? That would be a home run, I think, on a lot of levels, BJ, and Daddy's Boy signs in the background. But yeah, I think those usual suspects, you'll probably hear Brian Harsin, Zach Hill. Who else worked for Spencer Danielson? And maybe he goes far outside the family. You got to act quick, BJ, and essentially you need to now pillage someone else's hot coordinator. It's just a big Game of Thrones, like I said.
So what are your thoughts on this game tonight here? You see the Broncos warming up, going with the blue uniforms tonight. Crowd filing in, man. First place on the line. This is a massive game here at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum, man.
I love the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum, BJ. But before I go there, I actually have a question for you on the Bush Hamden situation.
Okay.
You've been on your phone all day, more so certainly than I have, trying to find stuff out on this information. You say they're trying to keep him. I would just ask you, as someone who's watching this show and a viewer of BNN, what more can you say? What do you think? What's going on in your head regarding Bush Hamden? How big a blow is this?
It's not a done deal. I think it probably, if it comes down to money, you'd have to expect that it will get done because, again, if they're offering 1.7, 1.8, and Boise State's offering 460, I think anybody that can say what they want about loyalty, whatever, but it's hard to blame somebody for having a chance to triple his pay, and I would say go for it, man. I also think the pieces are in place, Johnny, that whoever they bring in has a chance to succeed. Bush was a very talented offensive coordinator, but let's not act like he's the second coming of like the greatest offensive mind in history here. He's a solid OC. It's going to be a loss, but I certainly think there's candidates that can come out here and keep this offense rolling at a high level next year. It's not like this was this just kills Boise State's offense now because Bush Hamden is gone. I think that it's an opportunity to go get somebody. I do think Mike Sanford, we joke about him, but I think he'd be a perfect fit. I don't know if he's interested. I don't know if they're interested in him, but in terms of a guy that has done it at a high level and has the experience and is an alma mater, and I think there'd be a lot of boxes that he would check. But I think until we find out that Bush is actually gone, I think it's a little premature to talk too much about the candidates. But they are trying to keep him. I don't know what that means. That's just what I was told. They are making every effort to try to keep him. And again, don't know what that means. I just know that it's not a done deal yet. I'll say that.
Is the ultimate boogeyman, BJ, Bush leaving and then after spring ball when the portal opens, having something go on there? I don't see that happening. I really don't. I think Boise State's going to keep everybody it wants to keep after spring ball. I really do believe that. But I was also considering, you read some of that on social media. And again, that's what happens in college football. A lot of guys who leave, even for coordinator positions, they'll try to take some guys with them. So I guess we'll have to see. But hopefully it's something about nothing, BJ, and Bush stays.
We only got you for 4 more minutes, Johnny, so we got to get to the basketball stuff here. Although I got to give Jake a little credit. He's had about 10 of these. Max Rice puts milk before cereal. Max Rice wears socks to bed. Jake's got some real original ones in there, Johnny, and I think they're sitting right behind me as well. So appreciate you guys for watching and commenting and helping give us the engagement here. We'll take it, right? We'll take it.
Good stuff, BJ. Appreciate your pregame shows, man. I appreciate having the opportunity to come on.
Man? What are your big thoughts on this game before we let you go?
It feels like in this league, who's ever most desperate usually wins. These two teams, I see some desperation in both of them. I think Utah State slightly more desperate, BJ. They've lost, 2 games in a row coming into this thing, BJ? And obviously with the Stu Morrill stuff, I think the more pressure is on them. I think Boise State's a better basketball team than Utah State. I don't know how hard the crowd is going to be. If it's anything like Colorado State, Boise State's in for an uphill swim. BJ, they have to shoot well. When Boise State doesn't play well, it makes sense. They don't shoot well. So put the ball in the hole, and I'm just as excited as Bronco Nation is to watch this one tonight. Going to be fun, man.
And if they win this one, man, I think they're in the driver's seat, or they're at least have the leg. Whoever wins this game, Boise State or Utah State, like they're going to be and have a chance to really do something here and be the team that's really in first place and has a chance. So I think have the leg up here down the stretch. That's why I think this is a really big game.
Especially with the schedule coming up, BJ. If there is a soft spot, it's coming up. So if you get out of Logan tonight with a win, you set yourself potentially up, BJ, not for an NCAA tournament bid, but for Leon Rice to be able to say, hey, I've won this conference outright 2 out of 3 years. That would be a massive, massive deal for this program to be able to win that league this year. And they're in the mix.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Love coming here. How many times you come here? How many games you call here?
I've been there five or six times.
Was this one of the Was this one of the spots where they could hear you at the free throw line when you were commenting and nobody was here?
No, because surprisingly, the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum had some of the top crowds for women's basketball too. So they would fill there. I think I did a double header there once where I called a women's game and then the men's game was afterwards. So I saw everything, and that was a good Utah State team back then. It was the Stu Morrill era. They were hot back then, BJ. It was a tough place to play, and it still is.
Appreciate you, man. Super Bowl, you got Chiefs or 49ers?
I'm going with the Chiefs.
All right, man. I like it. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you later, Johnny. Thanks for jumping on, man. There he is, John Mallory. Appreciate him for jumping on. We need to get to a quick timeout, and we're going to thank some of our sponsors. I want to hear from Tim Duryea as well. This is Stu Morrill night, but Tim Duryea certainly means a lot to this place. Lithia Ford of Boise. Don't forget, they got 5 NIL deals with Boise State student athletes. We're very appreciative of Lithia Ford of Boise. Make sure you check them out at lithiafordboise.com. Taco Bell, you need a job? TacoBellWorks.com. They are hiring, and they'll give you half your pay the day after your shift. So if you're looking for a job, TacoBellWorks.com. SON Management, the Nicolason family, we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News, and they got some great food. I know my kids back in Boise went to lunch at Taco Bell today. So TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. You need a job? Check them out. Transportation Compliance Service, TCS. Highly recommend the folks there. They can help you out and get you into the trucking industry, all the permits and things you need to fill out. Check them out at Transportation Compliance Service and the Blue and Orange Store. TheBlueandOrangeStore.com. We appreciate them, their support of Bronco Nation News. TheBlueandOrangeStore.com. Free shipping any over $40. If you need all that Boise State gear, shirts, hats, you name it, they can do it at the Blue and Orange Store. So we appreciate them. Don't forget about Bronco Brew Coffee as well. BroncoBrew.coffee. The best coffee at the best price, and you're helping Boise State athletics at the same time. Roasted to order, not made till you order it, and it's at your door in a couple days. You'll not be disappointed with BroncoBrew.coffee. The crowd filing in. One of the storylines, obviously, is Stu Morrill Court. Tim Duryea was on the bench for 14 years under Stu Morrill and was the head coach for 3 years at Boise State. The teams will be returning to the court here shortly. Let's hear briefly from Tim Duryea, the Boise State assistant, on what it means for him after 17 years at Utah State, including 14 under Stu Morrill, to be back in the building tonight when it's named Stu Morrill Court.
First of all, I'm thrilled for Coach Morrill. I mean, I wanted the court to be named after him so badly, as so many people did, and I was hoping it would get done. And I know there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that go into things like that, and I was just very thankful when I heard, a couple months ago that it was going to happen. I was thrilled for him, and just brought back so many memories of our time together. I spent 14 years with Coach Morrill as an assistant, and we had a tremendous run and had so many great experiences, and a lot of those memories kind of came flooding back when I heard the news. And that, along with a couple of our championship teams, are going to be honored on Saturday. So there's going to be a lot of people in the building that that I'm familiar with and that I know, and that'll always be a special place to me. I think in coaching, when you're fortunate to spend 17 years in one place, that's a pretty rare happening, especially nowadays. That just doesn't happen anymore. And so my family grew up there. I raised my kids there, and and Utah State will always be a special place that way.
I know you're going, as a member of Boise State and trying to get a win. Obviously, it's a big game, but just to happen that it worked out, that it's the same night that you're going to be there when they're doing all this, and you'll get a chance to see him and a lot of the other teams and players and stuff. But what's that mean to you?
First and foremost, like I said, after Coach Morrill, the game is a huge game for both teams. We're both coming off tough losses and pretty evenly matched teams, and Coach Sprinkle and his staff have done such a good job there, and really enjoy watching them play. They do a lot of really good things and play really hard. They're very connected. So we've got our work cut out for us. Anytime you go into the Spectrum, that you've got to be buttoned up. Your team's got to be tight together, and effort's got to be in a maximum to have a chance to win there. And so, it's a huge game, and to be on that night and to be such a big game, I think just a lot of good things are coming together at once.
What was your connection? I know you were at the JUCO, right? And then when Stu hired you, but what was kind of your connection with him originally? How'd you end up at Utah State?
I was at Colorado State as a GA before Coach Morrill got there. My connection with him was Randy Ray.
Okay.
And Randy was an assistant at Utah State, and I was a head junior college coach, and Randy asked me, if I'd be interested in interviewing for the opportunity. And, when I went to Logan and met Coach Morrill and Don Verlin and Randy, and that was our staff for my first 3 years there, and just had a tremendous staff, a really close-knit group, and, it kind of grew from there. And then the staff had a lot of turnover through the years, and I just kind of stayed on, and it was a great place to coach. It was a great place to raise my family and to work for Coach Morrill. There was just no need to look anywhere else.
I know you touched on it, but what does Coach Morrill mean to you? And just, would you be here, I guess, where you are now without him?
Yeah, I've been fortunate in this business. I've worked for tremendous coaches. When you talk about Leon, who I'm working for now, and Stu Morrill, Boyd Grant, Tim Jankovic. I mean, I've been very, very lucky in who I've worked for, and some brilliant people there. And Stu is at the top of that list. I mean, he's regarded, X's and O's wise as a good a coach as has ever coached the game. And the game's a little different now in the 9 years that he retired, but he was a phenomenal guy in terms of preparation, organization. You learned so many things coaching for him, and he made you do everything. We all recruited, we all scouted, we all did scheduling, we all, worked in camps in the summer. I mean, you were all in it, and he was a really good guy to work for in terms of developing you as an assistant coach.
And the Broncos have taken the court. You can see the Utah State students here doing their dancing. They're booing. All the signs, they're getting held up there behind the court towards Max Rice. Every single one of those signs is about Max Rice. There's another one over here as well. I mean, you feel like you're at a WWE wrestling event with all the signs that are up for Max Rice and Boise State. Man, this is going to be a lot of fun. We bring you over here. We'll show you a little bit of Boise State warming up before we have to get off the court here. But the crowd is fired up. They got the signs. They're ready to go here. And I will say this, the actual atmosphere, I could do without some of the profane language and stuff, but this is what college basketball is all about. A large sold-out crowd, an energetic crowd. The students do a good job. For the most part, as long as it's fairly clean, I have no problem with it. And I think it's good for college basketball to have a big crowd like this and a big student section that's already full and rocking. But have heard some things we can do without. We'll leave it at that. UNLV's up 9, by the way. How about that? UNLV up by 9 on New Mexico. Wouldn't that certainly be something? 54-48, they're saying now with 13 minutes left, and I apologize that this guy won't move. He doesn't understand that the camera's on him. I've asked him 3 times, so I apologize for that. But Boise State back in the all-blue. Oh, Max is smiling. Max just gave him a little nod. I think he was Max just gave him a little nod, so I think maybe he's going to feed off this, and this could be the Max Rice game where he goes by if Max Rice has a huge game, then makes his return to BNN on the post-game show. Wouldn't that be something? But Max Rice just gave a little head nod to the crowd. They were cheering. He saw some of the signs. Max Rice, I think, is about to go off tonight, folks. This is going to be unbelievable here. I guess softball just beat Arizona State as well. Is that the what I'm seeing in the chat here? That's certainly a good one to see as well. But here's Cade Rice now as a player. He's got some signs for him. So for whatever reason, they forget Max Rice was an all Mountain West player. last year and is one of the better players in the Mountain West. But Max is certainly looking like he's ready for this one. And, again, I apologize for this guy that won't move. But it is going to be awesome. This is going to be a lot of fun. I am really, really, really looking forward to Boise State and Utah State tonight at the Spectrum. And if Max Rice has a big game tonight, I hope Max will come on. But I've got no beef with him. I'm ready to talk to him. We're past that. That's in the past, and hoping that Max does have a big game, and we would love to have him on tonight. There's Tim Duryea. There's Max. Let's see if he gives the students another look. He gave him a nod and a smile already once, so we'll see if he does it again at some point. But I think that this place is jumping. It's rocking. Man, this is going to be a lot of fun. He knows he's on camera. He may. Don't forget about Roddy Anderson. This is the Roddy Anderson revenge game as well. His dad played here. He had a chance. They offered it and recruited him, and he had a chance to come here and didn't. So there's some love for Roddy Anderson is lacking tonight as well. So I think that there's a lot of storylines. For this one tonight. So we're going to jump off here, guys. We're about 20 minutes till tip-off. They got the Mountain West rules here, and I got to go get my press pass. We appreciate you guys for checking out the show. Thank you so much for your support of Bronco Nation News. Go subscribe if you can. We'd love to have you. BNN 50 deal is that promo code. We'd love to have you subscribe. Join BNN. Become a subscriber. And we would really appreciate it if you guys could do it. Congratulations, Boise State softball, 6-4 over Arizona. We'll show you the students again at Utah State filing in here. There's the Utah State student section. We'll show them for a minute. Nice win for the softball team, and we'll have to keep tracking that Utah State or that New Mexico UNLV score as well. Wouldn't that be something for UNLV to go into the pit and win that one? So massive win there, potentially, if they can pull it off for UNLV. And a big one here for the Broncos. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for joining us on Bronco Nation News, Lithia Ford Boise pregame show. We will be back live with the postgame show. Yes, we can go all night tonight. I'm staying the night in Logan, so we'll go as late as you guys want. Join us about 5 minutes after the game ends, about 10 p.m. or so, about 5 minutes after the game ends. Denise got her James gift card. Go Broncos. Oh, we were supposed to do a giveaway today, and I forgot, so maybe we'll try to do it on the post-game show. If not, we'll do it on Monday. I apologize for that. But Boise State, Utah State, a big one. And, yes, join us on the post-game show. Coach Rice, some players live. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really excited and looking forward to this one. Appreciate you joining us. With the Afforded Boise pregame show, we're going to jump off per Mountain West rules. We've been on about almost 40 minutes or so. But thank you guys so much. Going to be an awesome game and a fun one. We really, really, really appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to you after the game. Boise State, Utah State, battle for first place on Fox Sports 1 coming up in about 20 minutes. And we'll talk to you on the postgame show on Bronco Nation News, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter with the Afforded Boise pregame show presented by RowPaint.com. We're in the Cutwater Studios, more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. We'll be back with the Afforded Boise postgame show after the game. Enjoy it, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.